The Southern Upland Way, Day 11, Traquair to Melrose, 23 miles. Another rainy day, in fact a very rainy day. No surprises there. And once again we were happy to take a taxi back to the trail, otherwise our 23-mile day would have been a 25-mile one. There was plenty of variety along the trail, which largely follows old drove roads, incorporating woodland, open moorland, what would normally be panoramic views, but the rain scuppered that for us, the Three Brethren cairns, the Tweed Valley, semi-urban walking on the southern side of Galashiels, and finally the ancient town of Melrose, with its atmospheric ruined abbey, National Trust for Scotland Gardens, and a busy, thriving town centre. We shared a taxi with Lolita and returned to the trail in Traquair. It was raining steadily as we started climbing almost immediately, heading up towards Minch Moor. Lolita slogging her way up the hill in the pouring rain. The Cheesewell Spring on Minch Moor, a shrine where offerings used to be made, and obviously still are, to the fairies of the hills. Our world of mist and rain. Because Alex's shoes were no longer waterproof after his insoles cut through the sides of them on day 2, he resorted to all sorts of devious measures to keep his feet dry, including using plastic bags. This worked to some extent, but he was very diligent about changing his socks at regular intervals in order to help prevent blisters.
The bin man.
We found our 11th kist. We almost had a view here, and it felt rather like I was back on the North York Moors, walking the Cleveland Way. The trail over Minch Moor runs along an ancient track called Minch Moor Road, which used to be the main route across southern Scotland. There are many legends associated with this. Approaching the Three Brethren at 1,522 feet. There are supposed to be panoramic views here, but all we saw was mist and rain. At the Three Brethren, I inadvertently took the wrong trail and ended up walking an extra mile up and down a very steep, rocky hill. We had been walking mainly uphill all morning in heavy rain, and when we finally arrived at this iconic trig point, Alex stopped to change his socks, and Lolita was just behind us. I told Alex that I would carry on, and shot off down what I thought was the trail leading straight on, failing to see in the mist and heavy rain that the actual trail made a right turn at this point. I gingerly negotiated my way down a very steep rocky slope. I was actually singing and congratulating myself as I picked my way down through the wet, slippery rocks, because for once the old lady was in the lead and was mastering the downhill climb with ease. After having arrived at the bottom unscathed, I decided to check my map on my mobile, which was packed away in a plastic bag in my pocket to protect it from the rain. Normally I would have it out and be checking it more regularly, but the rain prevented that. When I looked at the map, I discovered to my horror that I had taken the wrong path, and that the only remedy was to retrace my steps all the way back up the steep hill to the Three Brethren, since there were no shortcuts to be had. Fortunately, I had a mobile signal and was able to ring Alex, who by that time was already much further along the proper trail, and let him know about my stupidity. Lesson learnt. Pride before a fall. number 2. After this, we never saw Lolita again, but we learnt subsequently that she took an alternative route further along the trail to Duns and then to Berwick upon Tweed in order to catch a bus to Edinburgh. Happy days, Lolita. Crossing the River Tweed, one of Scotland's main salmon rivers, over the Yare Bridge. Interestingly, the source of the 97-mile-long River Tweed lies in the Moffat Hills, just to the north of the Devil's Beef Tub and 5 miles north of Moffat. Our first meeting with it was when we crossed the bridge into Inner Leitham. It runs into the sea at Berwick-on-Tweed in Northumberland. An amazing fungus growing along the River Tweed and almost opposite Abbotsford on the other side of the river. We took this photo of Abbotsford, the former home of Sir Walter Scott, during our visit in July 2019. It was a nostalgic moment. Approaching Melrose along the River Tweed. Entering Melrose with just half a mile left. Entering Melrose and our first sight of Melrose Abbey, founded in 1136 by King David I and established by Cistercian monks from Rievaulx Abbey in Yorkshire. Part of the Harmony Gardens in Melrose, which are administered by the National Trust for Scotland. Melrose Abbey. We love this van that we saw in Melrose. Melrose has lots of charming little shops. The centre of Melrose. We loved Melrose. Shame about the rain. And decided that if we were to live in Scotland, Melrose would be the place. I was interested to learn that Melrose is also located at the start or end of the St Cuthbert's Way, which runs for 63 miles between Melrose and Lindisfarne. It provides a link over the Cheviot Hills between the Southern Upland Way, the Pennine Way at Kirkyetholm, and the Northumberland Coast Path. Very tempting. Might have to do that one day soon. Please see my Day 12 video for the continuation.